Hello guys and welcome back to this new video. So today we're going to talk about Madame de Pompadour. Madame de Pompadour, born as Jeanne Antoinette Poisson. She was born in December 1721, and of course she was from a well-off family. Not very extremely rich, but definitely a well-off family. The father was a financier, and so the premise for a good life was already set up. However, we have to say that the father is in debt, and in 1725, a lot of troubles, a lot of economic troubles start for the whole family. And so we have to get to 8 years later to the father going in exile. Now, we also have to mention here very quickly that the exile is probably the best option because at the time, somebody like a financier that is being accused of fraud might end up dead. With that being said, though, we go back to Madame de Pompadour, whose legend is a long-standing legend, whose breasts have shaped the champagne glass, and Madame de Pompadour, who was known as Little Queen, Reinette in the French. She was, as you guys have seen from the picture, blonde. She had blue eyes and she had also alabaster skin, so absolutely beautiful. Yet she was also extremely smart. She was first educated in a convent, and even Voltaire, who would become her friend later on, said about her that she had read a lot. Now, in the convent, in the Ursuline convent, where she was studying, she suddenly became ill. So they rushed her home, and here a mysterious man started paying for her education. The mysterious man in question was a tax collector, a guy named Lenormand de Tarnaham, and he became her legal guardian. He was hired, therefore, to take care of her from a legal slash educational aspect, and he hired himself very expensive tutor to educate her at home. Somebody else that contributed to the expenses of Madame Pompadour was another guy named Jean Paris, meaning the Godfather. Now, both of them, this Lenormand de Tarnaham as well as Jean Paris, were rumored at a certain point to be Madame de Pompadour's biological father. And then we don't know the truth, of course, but we do know that she was raised with a excellent education, excellent manners, so she could conversate, entertain conversations with everybody, being very flexible in the sense of like a very to know a very broad range of topics. So things that we have to say is that with that kind of framework, of course, what happens in those situations is that the mother started to pimp her out. Now, I don't mean that literally, of course, but I mean that as in the mother started to show her off to potential suitors, and of course, she ended up choosing this guy, Charles Guillaume Lenormand de Troyes. And if that sounds kind of close, because it contains Lenormand, and we have encountered that earlier, is because of no happenstance. It actually happened that the guy she married was the nephew of Lenormand de Tarnaham. In particular, Lenormand de Tarnaham, in order to give them and leave them all the money that he had gained, decided to nominate to make of Charles Guillaume Lenormand de Troyes, his niece, his only heir of the whole fortune. And therefore, the marriage started off with a very good premise, that is, having as enemy the rest of the family. Anyway, the marriage was kind of a happy marriage. I mean, I'm saying kind of because it actually was happy. They had the issues though. I mean, she got pregnant, she had two kids, and then the son passed away when he was a year old, and the daughter also passed away due to stomach illness when she was 9 years old. And that's definitely tragic. However, something that Madame de Pompadour had to deal with the rest of her life, or actually her entire life, because she won't be able to have kids. And we'll see she'll suffer from several miscarriages, but she won't be able to have any other kid. Madame de Pompadour, the moment she got married, of course, she started attending, she started going and be always all the time at court. And of course, she gets introduced to the high society, so to speak, so to the wealthiest society in France at that time. And then it comes a particular day, a particular moment in her history, that is 1744. She has organized a hunting expedition, and of course, that hunting expedition is held at Pompadour's estate. And of course, there are rules. Rules meaning, in other words, that the king decides where to go, and he cannot be hampered in his path. Therefore, the king goes first, and everybody else follows. What happened was that she started riding in the king's path several times. Every time she did that, she wore different colored outfits, and and that was like to be noticed. And she made sure also to eliminate any possible enemy she could have. Her enemy number one was definitely Madame de Châteauroux. At that time, Madame de Châteauroux was definitely the favorite of the king. Until one day she entered Versailles and she fell to her knees, complaining about a pain stomach. And such a pain was so intense that she insisted she had to be poisoned. She would die there, and so the path to the king's hearth would be free. We are in 1745 when there is a masked ball. Masked ball that was organized because of the wedding between the Dauphin and Marie Therese of Spain. And of course, she went there dressed up as Diana, the Roman goddess of hunting. He was also present at the masked ball, and he was dressed exactly like other two or three people, so that Louis the king could walk around without being bothered. But his clever costume had nothing on Pompadour's. Now, it is exactly at this point in time that, of course, he revealed himself and his public affection for her. We are in March 1745, 1745 when she took up her abode in the Palace of Versailles. Her apartment was right above the king's own chamber, in case anyone was confused by her reason for being there. Now, she didn't have exactly an easy life at court. King Louis XV's kids were not thrilled that Pompadour had moved into the palace, and they weren't shy about who knew it. They called her Mommy Whore, and that must not have been exactly that easy. Yet, the situation was even more complicated by the fact that Madame de Pompadour's husband, Charles Guillaume Lenormand, adored his bride and was deeply upset when she left. And to appease him, the king first tries to give him something back, to give him something as a form of reward or bribe, if you like. And so the king offered him a very prestigious role, that of French ambassador to Turkey. However, he refused. And consequently, his family turned his back on him. The king was able to have this separation actually recognized, and Charles Guillaume was completely left alone. Now, this is a woman, Madame de Pompadour is a woman about whom we know stuff that we also wish not to know. From 1755 to 1881, the British Army had a regiment called the 56th Regiment of Foot, also known as the West Essex, and their purple uniforms gained them the nickname the Pompadours, apparently because purple had been the favorite color of Madame Pompadour. Now, purple was not just the favorite color that she would wear for dresses, but it was more so the favorite color of her undergarments. Now, could we live without this? Absolutely yes. But anyway, we know stuff, and therefore we are going to say it. Was Madame de Pompadour so bad after all? No, she wasn't. I mean, of course she wasn't, because nobody is complete evil or complete saint, completely a saint. But she most definitely was interesting, very strategic in her moves. First of all, she was hated at court, but loved by the king. The king built a secret staircase so that he could covertly visit Pompadour whenever he liked it. Now, of course, the secret staircase didn't stay secret for long, but she was also somewhat appreciated by Queen Mary. Now, in order not to have more enemies than what she had already, she decided to convince the king to pay for the queen's gambling debts, and also to give her a stylish renovation of her bedroom. And just, to appease her, to make her happy, she decided to do that. And of course, the response of Queen Mary was, if there must be a mistress, better be her than any other. So somewhat, she was gaining more and more influence at court. And I said somewhat, but in reality, it was very, very clear that she climbed the ladder. She achieved to be not only one of the many mistresses that King Louis XV had in his lifetime, but she was also very, very influential. Um, so, what did she do to keep, to preserve, to maintain this relationship with the king? Here, things are, they get really interesting because she would put up with his moods. She would role play. She would pretend to be a poor. They would go out in the countryside just for the sake of playing the poor role. Of course, then they would sleep in little cabin houses that were extremely rich inside, filled with different objects. They were really expensive and remarkable. She was also very much interested in whatever was going on at court itself, and so she started to be a trendsetter. Specifically, she had this milkmaid attire that was quite impressive because the milkmaid attire, meaning she was dressed like a woman milking cows. So that is something else that we might not have necessarily imagined, but that would be one of the trends that she would set up, not only for her court but also for following courts as well. Yet in 1750, the public demands that the ruler, the king, behaves as such, and that he behaves as a good Christian. And so that also would mean eliminating, getting rid of the different mistresses. In this crisis, Madame de Pompadour is somebody we want to actually take notes from, because in all of this, she convinced the king to build an apartment just outside of Versailles. A very expensive apartment where the two could go. Now, the apartment would be finished after her death, so unfortunately, she wasn't able to enjoy it as much. And then Louis XV brought there the new mistress, and this is a man that does this as a profession, I think. And so anyway, she was not so much loved, not at court, where she gained the nickname of White Flower because of the smell that she was oozing. Probably she suffered from leukorrhea, and so she was oozing this horrible smell. But also, she wasn't very much loved by the public. In the sense that she had promoted the alliance between France and Austria that had caused France a war that lasted 7 years, and definitely that wasn't maybe her best moment in hindsight, but what the public was missing was her influence in choosing prime ministers like Bertin or Machaut. And those prime ministers were absolutely crucial for the development of France as we know it today, for its infrastructure, for its trade, and for its taxes. Now, with that being said, guys, all we want to know really here is what do you like and what you don't like about Madame Pompadour. What is it that you have discovered in this video? And if you have liked the video, don't forget to actually like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and don't forget as well to comment below and let us know, and we'll talk some more next time. Alright, with that being said, then let's talk next time. Bye bye.